Democratic billionaire governor of Illinois. You know him. You probably don't love him. J.B. Pritzker on February 19th. The billionaire of the Hyatt Hotel dynasty delivered a speech before the Illinois General Assembly outlining his proposed new budget, the second of his administration since taking office in January of 2019, keeping spending essentially flat. The proposal would see a miserly increase in the K-12 education and social services, but only if voters approve the constitutional amendment instituting a graduated income tax in the November election. So for those who don't know, Illinois by constitution has a flat income tax. What that means is it's pretty difficult to raise revenues and raise taxes because you disproportionately hurt lower income folks. So we've been trying to have some kind of progressive income taxation system on the state level here in Illinois, and we're getting closer to actually achieving that. The downside is our governor's budget seems to just want to double down on austerity and not use.
Which he ran against.
He ran against, and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I thought if we were able to get this progressive taxation system and start having, people with, drastically higher incomes pay more in taxes, I thought that would increase revenue and we would be able to spend on social services and social safety net and infrastructure spending, et cetera, et cetera. And he's basically given a huge middle finger to citizens of Illinois and saying, nope, not going to do that.
And there's one positive thing from this story. Oh, no. Kid, what do you mean a positive thing? Well, for a long time throughout the show, even in the early radio days, I was a very harsh critic of J.B. Pritzker as a candidate. In fact, he was not my choice at all. I did not even vote for him. But, throughout the times, I was constantly being corrected. He's doing some good things here and there. And I was hesitant to fully say, yeah, you're doing some good things, JB. I'm so glad I can start kind of taking off the gloves and start swinging at a billionaire. Because once again, those sociopathic top 1%ers, they're the hypocrites like they always are. J.B. Pritzker is no FDR, and Illinois is in a lot of troubles. We are still recovering from that 2-year budgetary crisis between Madigan and former Governor Bruce Rauner. But we'll see what J.B. does, and we'll see what happens this election cycle, because people are not going to like this austerity budget. We here in Illinois are being hurt by this.
So actually, this is going to be interesting. I have a completely opposite take from you guys. So from the point of view, the fair tax, and I got to say, he's been spending his own money. And Rakira talked about he's been paying out of his own pocket millions of dollars, as well as actually doing a decent amount of work lobbying for the fair tax. Which again, if you're not in Illinois, let me just re-explain what they said earlier. So if Illinois had a progressive tax system similar to that, bastion of democracy, Wisconsin. Oh no, I mean that was the Republican state of Wisconsin. We would be bringing in about $4 billion more a year. It would basically take care of much of all, if not most of the financial issues the state currently has. Now, the problem is, due to previous corruption, it is literally written into the Constitution of Illinois that we have a flat tax. That means that if you make, $10,000, you're paying the same percent as if someone is making $1 million.
Yeah.
Versus a progressive tax, which is, stepped. Like if you make up to 29, you pay this much, then from your 29th, then 1 to your 50, et cetera, et cetera. You guys know how that part works. So for JB to correct all this, he first has to basically amend the Illinois Constitution.
Which he can't do as governor. You need the entire Illinois State Senate and House to do that.
And so
he's making headway there.
Yeah.
He's been progressing along that. We have a lot of issues with the fact that who he is and getting into office, how he spent his way in. It was the most expensive governor's race ever.
In American
all those
history.
reasons.
Yeah.
But he is actually moving in that direction. It doesn't seem like he's faking it. He seems genuine about it. He's not there yet. Now, that said, if it fails and it is shenanigans, then I'm going to yell at him. If it passes and next budget is austerity, I'm going to yell at him.
Knowing our history with Illinois governors.
Okay, right now, it hasn't passed, and he's putting in a budget that's slightly bigger than the old budget.
Okay, knowing our past history with Illinois governors, maybe I see your point of view. I'm used
to our governors cutting the budget.
I'm used to our governors actually going to jail.
Yeah,
I'm used to our governors with corruption.
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm waiting. Now look, if I'm wrong, fine. And look, me and Paul have a right to be critical of this, but I think from your perspective, I see your point. It's just I'm just so used to. Maybe I'm so jaded with Illinois politics.
I'm used to the budget being cut every year.
Yeah,
the fact that it's growing a little bit, I'm like, oh, thank God. Illinois, our standard, our bar is so low.
Yeah. Here.
Don't go to jail.
Our bar is so low.
cut the budget.
Our bar is so low that we threw it out the window of the Sears Tower and just said, hey, where did it go?
Going to Lake Michigan.
Going to Lake Michigan, and it's at the bottom of the lake. That's where it's at.
Somewhere on Lower Wacker.
I just love how I'm like, he's doing okay. He's not going to jail. He's not budgetary crisis.
But is that a really good thing to even say, Dan? Because it's not.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
You're not supposed to go to jail, particularly if you're
No,
a governor.
no. If you're in office, you're supposed to do the right thing and work for your constituents, not go to jail.
Oh,
like,
my God.
hey, that Illinois governor, now he's in jail. Or is it that get pardoned by Trump? Blago's out.
He's done. It's
the
so
hell?
crazy that he's done. He might be the best governor in my lifetime, and that's saying a lot, but really saying a little.
And Daniel's like
Right.
younger than me and Paul.
Yeah.
He's the tallest kid
that
in
is-
kindergarten.
It's like this is the first governor where I'm like, oh, you're not an outright criminal, and you might be. I mean, he passed legalization, which is more than I had ever thought. It's so ridiculous.
He has done
that
good.
I'm
but he
split
has
on a
done
billionaire
good. But I'm
governor.
just
It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
This shouldn't be a thing.
I'm waiting for the worst to happen. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I'm so used to Illinois politics.